It is so exhausting being an extrovert who lives alone, because if I don't get my yappy time, yep, every day, I feel exhausted, depressed, and sad. So I discovered a little trick, because I work from home, okay? If I don't want to, I don't need to talk to anyone. I can go a week without seeing a person. When I get my yappy time, so when I get my energy here, my talking energy out of my system, I actually get more energy and feel happier.
I don't care!
I'm not gonna lie to you, gentlemen and gents. I don't know whether or not to be shocked, appalled, or unsurprised that main character syndrome hasn't been registered as an official disorder of the medical brain science variety. Now, I'm no doctor, but I did barely pass 3rd grade math thanks to a series of comedic technicalities, so I think that makes me more than qualified than her when it comes to diagnosing anything. One classic symptom of this painfully annoying disorder is how a modern woman will get depressed if she doesn't have an audience of people who will sit still and watch her flap her gums for hours on end. She's not talking about having a basic human conversation. She just wants to endlessly yap while people sit there and pretend to be interested in the things she has to say. And I don't think it's possible for me to imagine being so important that assuming the entire planet wants to hear me prattle on for hours on end. And also on an unrelated note, would you mind hitting that like and subscribe button down below and leave a few comments as well? Unlike this broad, I don't like to be the only one talking here. Thank you in advance.
So I got a streaming station for my birthday, which was amazing. And now I just play my little Sims on Twitch every evening. And even though no one's watching, I just get to entertain myself. Stream my little streamy time, talk, and I'm feeling way better. So problem solved.
I don't care! I don't care!
Okay.
I don't care! I don't care! I don't care!
1 second.
Lady, sweetheart, please, for crying out loud, just take my advice. If you want people to talk to you, stop referring to your endless word dronings with yappy time or streamy time. It makes sense why you would do that. You think it's cute and funny and easygoing, but everyone sees it as childish, annoying, and self-absorbed, which makes sense. You are a female Twitch streamer who can't even get Sims to watch as you screw up playing The Sims. Now, I've never played The Sims, nor do I ever intend to. I'd rather spend hours finding new and creative ways to screw up SimCity for the Super Nintendo. That village music is so peaceful, it makes me want to throw a brick at a pyramid of moderately priced vases. But I digress. This woman invested money into a streaming rig only for the entire planet to reject her and nobody caring about a single thing she has to say. But that does not stop her from secretly begging people to validate her importance on this planet, which is impossible. You want to talk for a living, but you can barely speak English, which is terrifying because that's clearly your first language.
It's science.
I just watched a girl admitting that she moved across the world to live with her boyfriend, being 25. And that's when she discovered that she actually has no passions or hobbies. Being far away from her family and friends and her environment, she discovered that she actually doesn't know what she likes. And here's what I have to say, because same girl, same. When I was in my mid-20s, I didn't even know what I wanted and who I was. And that is because, in my case, I don't know if it's true to her, but maybe you can relate to that. Being a teenager, I was so damn insecure.
I'm shocked.
You know, as I sit back and watch the horrific splendor that is the complete collapse of humanity, it just keeps giving me more and more amazing surprises. It is absolutely fascinating how these chicks will live out their entire youth without any form of recreation, which doesn't involve makeup, reality television, or chasing Chad, Polly, and Tyrone apart for some fun time with their scummy doom portal of agonizing oblivion. And as they get closer and closer to the wall, it finally starts to dawn upon them that they have zero hobbies and virtually nothing that brings them any joy in life, and it hits them like a ton of bricks that they are painfully dull. Think about it. We're seeing a massive rise of aimless women who have zero emotional maturity. They are glitched out and straight up miserable. And once they get to that point, they're incapable of experiencing zero joy. So they resort to amateur psychology and blaming society for their problems. I'm genuinely shocked Never in a million years would I have ever found an entire generation of dull, uninteresting, and listless broads capture my mind the way these chicks have. What strange times we find ourselves, am I right?
Being this vanilla, white girl with a lot of privileges,
That's racist!
I had no idea what I wanted. So many opportunities. So I made it my #1 goal to be liked by as many people as possible, because I thought this is how I survive. This is how I'm going to make it in this world. But guess what? Side effect of that is that you are mirroring everyone's personality and hobbies and passions around you, that in the end, you may be liked by everyone, but you don't even like yourself.
Wow, that's fantastic work, man. You have the wisdom of a 6,000 or 7,000-year-old man. That's fantastic. We don't have to fill up the whole blackboard after all.
I hate to break it to you, sister, but that makeup and your facial expressions show us that nothing much has changed. Seriously, woman, I cannot tell if you intentionally painted your eyes to make you look like an exhausted crack addict, or you're on day 2 of your recovery from a 3-day bender of boxed wine and antidepressants. Now, I get it. There's a lot of folks out there who went through a period of incessant people-pleasing, but there comes a point where you either need to grow up and do something about it, or just complain about it nonstop to an entire planet who couldn't care less about how you completely fumbled on every single one of the many opportunities you claim you've had in your privileged life. And instead of actually acting on them, you've decided the most mature course of action is to complain endlessly on the internet about how you managed to completely fail at life. And look where it's getting you, sweetheart. You're bored, you're miserable, and slowly descending into madness. And you're giving us a front row seat because reasons?
And you don't even know what you actually like, and there's no shame in that. Nothing to be ashamed of. Use your 20s, 30s, however old you are, to rediscover yourself and have fun with yourself. This is not a breakdown, it's a breakthrough.
Nervous breakdown, nervous breakdown!
It will never cease to amaze me how modern women are somehow able to not only romanticize life itself, but also completely waste it in the process. Just listen to the sappy drivel you're spewing, lady. Explore yourself, have fun with yourself, discover who you really are. That's the kind of stuff you expect to read on a cough drop wrapper. No, come to think of it, I have read that on a cough drop wrapper. That's not life advice. That's generic garbage that means virtually nothing. And you wear those words like a musty, rotten old blanket that's potentially infected with smallpox. It's the only thing you have to help you swallow your daily ration of cope, is you deny the fact that your best years are far behind you and you have nothing to show for all your work, your fun, and whatever other terrible life decisions you've made. And for the record, sister, when you're living in denial, that's not a breakthrough. That's literally on the verge of a breakdown.
I know it, your family knows it. Dogs know it.
Question for men. What is the first thing that you notice when you look at me? Comment below.
Emotional damage!
Well, I notice a woman who has the incredible talent of being able to name the brand of boxed wine by the smell of the cardboard. Well, that and a broken woman who's fast-tracked her way to the wall. And I could go into a massive rant about how you're damaged goods and that stench you're sporting all over your body will never wash away, but I'd rather spend that time talking about Diplomatic Siege, one of the best movies around. It's Peter Weller playing Die Hard in the Romanian embassy. Doesn't get any better than that. He's just running around, blowing stuff up, taking his pants off in front of Daryl Hannah. The movie has a whole bunch of plot lines that go nowhere. Daryl Hannah reflects a whole bunch of death lasers with a credit card. And my personal favorite, I get to watch the last of Tom Berenger's dignity slowly die on camera. It's also got toilet ninjas. And when you're working with a combination like that, you can't go wrong. And I sleep comfortably knowing that I spent my last $10 plus shipping on a bootleg DVD of this fine specimen of a film, instead of wasting $5 on bus fare just to get as far away from this other broad as humanly possible. There is just so much more dignity to be had in watching Diplomatic Siege.
Okay, so these are some signs of a low effort man. I want to say boy because they're not men. A low effort man will hate when you set boundaries. They don't like when you get upset if they flake on you or if they don't follow through. They don't like when you make it difficult for them to hang out with you. A low effort man will not speak to you for days, and they'll leave you on red and they'll disappear for a long time. They ask you on dates last minute. They'll be like, hey, you want to go to dinner? And it's like 6:30. Or they'll be like, hey, you want to grab a drink? And it's like 8. They never make plans in advance. When you set boundaries, they don't listen to you and they completely disregard that. If you set a boundary and they don't like it, they will ghost you. Low value, low effort men love to be chased. They want to be a princess.
You don't know what words mean, do you?
Here are some of the signs of a low-value woman. She's single, she's over 30, and requires a minimum of 3 hours to plaster on enough makeup and combine it with filters to give her face that malnourished war orphan look that's all the rage nowadays. She makes pathetic attempts to emasculate men by calling them boys, and she gets cranky that the men who drunkenly slept with her one night won't commit to her afterwards. She also calls them out for being princesses because she refuses to treat those men with any form of respect or dignity. Low-value women are also incredibly bitter, have zero personality, and they think their words are so important that they must record them while walking around a neighborhood while dressed like a soccer mom who's still trying to act like a cool kid while getting the attention of her neighbor's pool boy and failing hilariously in the process. And I would call her as bland as her cooking. This is a low-value woman we're talking about. When it comes to the kitchen, let's just say she's a pyromaniac's wet dream.
They don't make time to see you or talk to you. When you do have plans, they find a way to fuck it up last minute. They either fell asleep or they forgot or they got caught up, but they don't tell you because they're really, really bad at communication. Low effort men lack direction. They can't make decisions. They constantly need compliments and praise. They're basically in their wounded feminine energy. These types of men are not worth your time.
Speak for yourself, moron. Oh my God, that is funny!
Low-value women love their energy. They love their energy more than they love the length of their fingernails. And low-value women love their long fingernails more than men love to wear bugles on their fingertips and pretend they're badass claws. There's no shame in admitting it, we've all done it in the past. But at least when we did it, it was fun and way more hygienic. The low-value woman doesn't know the meaning of the word hygienic or energy or any other word in the English language. She also loves to project her insecurities and anger on an entire population of men who fall into 3 categories. The simps, who she doesn't respect, the Chads and Tyrones of the world who couldn't care less, and the rest of us who laugh at her stupidity at her own expense. Because when it comes to low-value chicks, they are the gift that keeps on giving for guys like us.
Not at all. So if you find yourself in a situation where you have encountered somebody like this and they disappeared and you're upset and you're feeling like you need to chase them, please stop. Please stop. Can you imagine how horrible it would be to actually be in a committed relationship with a person like this? They don't value your time or your energy. They don't value you. They don't respect you. They're selfish. They're not ready for a divine connection, not ready for a divine feminine energy. It's too much to handle for them. Respect yourself enough to walk away.
Step right up and place your bets, gentlemen and gents, because I got 20 intergalactic space pennies that say she texted Raphael about 3 minutes after posting that video. I know, I'm probably overestimating that guess by at least 2.5 minutes. Low-value women do this stuff all the time. Whenever they post this kind of cringe, it's not because she's trying to put out some wisdom into the world, it's because she's trying to convince herself not to beg Raphael back into his harem. That's all this is. And no matter how much Yas Queen energy she gets from the comments section, it's nothing in comparison to the delusion that she feeds herself, thinking that all she has to do is keep allowing that man to blow out her back enough times and he'll eventually come around to commit. Once again, we're dealing with a low-value woman. This is the closest thing to an emotion that she's capable of feeling. But the good news is that this broad is in the perfect place to absorb some of that energy that she loves oh so much, because there is no better place for a low-value woman to absorb some energy than to be on the streets where she belongs. And that's gonna do it for today's video, gentlemen and gents. And as always, if you find that my particular brand of comedy is bringing you to the brink of laughter, then why don't you scroll on down and click that like and subscribe button, ring the notification bell, leave a couple of comments, and share this video so we can give the good old-fashioned middle finger to the YouTube algorithm. Thank you so much for checking out the new video, and until next time, peace out, homies.